Okay, it's officially Arizona cold, November 25th, 2025. What's the temperature here? 53 degrees, 8:17 a.m. right now, officially cold. You know, you wake up out of bed, you're like, okay, where did I pack the sweats? Time to pull the sweats out. Oh, I need that extra sweater. Yeah, it's one of those days. So I figure it's time to get up, and this is just going to be on the fly right here. And no pressure regardless. Okay, this is what I do for entertainment. Okay. I figure, there's at least a little bit of talent involved in doing this. There's so much brain rot out there. And I had to plug in this different mouse, so you may hear it clicking. That's okay. But there's so much brain rot content out there. I figure if I spend my time decoding stories in the mainstream news, I figure, that's okay, keeps me busy. You see these stories right here pop up trending. Wow, oldest survivor of Tulsa race massacre dies at 111. That's interesting right there. But I'm still going to click on the AP news and I may come back to that if I don't see anything. Okay, Jimmy Cliff dies. I think I'm going to look at that. I'm not sure who he is, but we're going to find out right here, and we're going to do a quick little breakdown on this guy. Reggae giant and star of the landmark film The Harder They Come, dead at 81. That sounded kind of cringe, didn't it? Here he is right here. So this guy is a reggae giant and star of a film called The Harder They Come, dead at 81. Okay. So, wow, look, The Harder They Come has 181. And we know 181 is the 42nd prime number, which connects to, I hate to say the word black people, but they tell us black people, right? These people are black. That's what we've been programmed. But that number 181, the 42nd prime number, slavery equals 42, and some other derogatory negative terms associated with what they have programmed us to call black people, right? And I'm a mixed person, like my mom's Canadian, straight up white. My last name's Irish. My dad is Mexican. So it's like whatever, we're brought up like, hey, this person's this, that person's this, right? So this is what we've been taught is a black man, right? He dies at age 81, and he's known for that movie, The Harder They Come, and The Harder They Come equals 181, which is like 81, and then again, that's the 42nd prime number, slavery, and other words equal 42, right? When did this movie? Let me put his name in. His name's Jimmy Cliff, huh? We'll enter his full name as well. And there's gonna be things. There's gonna be things that I miss here. When's his birthday as well? Jimmy Cliff. Okay, so he dies. I hope he didn't fall off of a cliff. I mean, with this code, things like that happen. Look, he's got the Mike Tyson birthday. He was born St. James Parish, and his name is Jimmy. Oh, that's not the Mike Tyson birthday. Mike Tyson's June 30th. But look, he dies in St. James, and his name is Jimmy. Jimmy is a nickname for James, okay? You see right there, James Parish, Jamaica. So this birthday, the 30th day of the 7th month, that's like 37 or it's like 73. Just to put that out there. Sacrifice does equal 73. Just saying, right? Just saying. What's his full name is James. Well, his name is actually James Chambers. So this is how you know these are characters. Known professionally as Jimmy Cliff. Ska, Jamaican ska, rocksteady, reggae, and soul musician. Considered one of Jamaica's most celebrated musicians, okay? He's born in 44 and he dies the 30th day of the 7th month. That 3744 uh, hits a lot, especially if he died of cancer, because I think cancer equals 37 and 44, if I'm not mistaken. But if that is not the cause of death, um, then that wouldn't matter. His last name's Cliff. C does start with Cliff cancer. So we'll look at that. But check this out. Look, James Chambers is his name. He dies at 81, and James Chambers equals 81, okay? Now we'll find out how this guy died. But you see that? We already have his age of death connected with the movie he's known for, 181 like 81. James Chambers, that's what he was born, equals 81. Okay, now let's see how this guy died. And I'm just going to kind of like pull up random images of the guy just so you can take a look here as I'm doing some research. This is OTF on the fly decodes. I may at some point just go strictly to this, but the thing about it is you can really catch some amazing, you can catch everything in a predetermined decode. So I don't know if that'll fully go away, but I'm going to incorporate more of these as well. So an actor who preached joy, defiance, and resilience in such classics as Many Rivers to Cross. And you could see this guy, a multi-talented character on the world stage, right? Like a singer, an actor. Um, you can get it if you really want it. That's another movie, I guess. And Vietnam, and starred in the landmark movie The Harder They Come. That's the one they mention in the title, though. So I may just stick at that. And unless we have more time at the end, I may look at some of those other ones. His wife, Latifah Chambers, confirmed his death Monday. Chambers and Cliff's 3 children also posted a message on his social media sites that he died from a seizure followed by pneumonia. So those we enter just like main things in the calculator, okay? So look at that. Pneumonia's got the 108. Remember, he died at 81. Okay, and look, we're seeing this 45 as well because James Chambers equals 45 like pneumonia. Okay, so look, you can't deny that. You can't deny those connections, okay? And what was the a seizure followed by pneumonia? Okay, and you're seeing that pneumonia right there. So a seizure followed by pneumonia. Now, not everything is going to land. We're just off to a hot start here, okay? That doesn't mean everything lands. That's not how this works, okay? And you see seizure right there. Because you could go through like the whole Wikipedia of this guy and you could find these numbers. That's not what I'm here to do, okay? I do know that seizure equals November and he dies in November. Look, November's got 40 and 41 like seizure. You see that right there? So I can just do this. Look at that right there. And I'll just get rid of that 81 because I already put it. But look at that. November 40 and 41, seizure 40 and 41, a seizure connected with pneumonia 45 and 45, like his name, James Chambers. You see that right there? I think I like this wire mouse instead of the wireless one. It's a little more noisy, but I think I like it. I like it like that. Oh man, so how many days after his birthday did the guy die? Right? So his birthday, July 30th, he dies 11/24. And I'll try to pull up some video as well. As you know, this one's almost in the bag already. Look at this. 118-day span. There's that 8 and that 1 again from his death date, or from his birthday to his death date. And remember, he dies at age 81. Wow. Look at that. I mean, man, this connects. Everything starts with the language, okay? Because remember, even Michael Jordan's dad name is James, right? And people think that Jimmy Butler is related to Michael Jordan. They're just not telling us. So you get Jimmy and James. But remember, I've pointed it out in the past. Ooh. Okay. Let's pull up James Jordan. Right here. Look, James Jordan's birthday is 1 day after this guy. Look at that right there. You got the James Jimmy connection. And I've pointed out in the past that there was a couple of like YouTube videos or a couple of places where it said his birthday was 8/1, August 1st. I think it's like a YouTube video, which, you know, would be like the next day. And it may not pop up right now. Oh, maybe if I go right here. It was like a YouTube video that popped up. I don't think I'm putting it in right. But anyways, that would be the next day. And you know that 81 for sure connects to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bean Bryant equals 81. And he scored 81 in a game. See, look at right there. There's that video I'm referring to. You see James Raymond Jordan? Look, 8/1 right there. But I'm guessing his birthday really is the day before. But there's that 8/1. I don't know if whoever made that video, they need to correct that. Look at the date there. The 4th day of the 8th month. Remember, Michael Jordan's birthday is the 48th day of the year. James Jordan also, remember, they got the Jimmy James name here, okay? He's born in 36. And didn't we just see some 36s? Because look, Cliff equals 36. And you could see how the 18, 36, 45, you can see how that all connects by the number 9, right? 4 times 9 is 36. 5 times 9 is 45. 2 times 9 is 18. You see how that works right there? And there's that 41, which also connects to Kobe Bryant, which is connected to Michael Jordan. There's that 45 right there. Remember, Jordan came out of retirement wearing the 45. And look, 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 11 is 99. So you see how that works? Cliff's got that 36 right there. You see that? Isn't that's solid? So you get the Jimmy James connection with oh, and you know what? I think Jordan equals 37 as well. I wouldn't even really like include this in any slides. Look, Jordan equals 37. Does Chicago have 37? Chicago has 37. You see how that works by the language? Jimmy James, James Jordan, Michael Jordan's father, and you get this guy, Jimmy Cliff. Cliff's got the C like Chicago. And look, with the 30th day of the 7th month, like 37. You see that right there? Isn't that wild? I think so. Okay, so it's like, damn, it's almost like a rap here, fellow decoders out there. Pull up another image, and did we see how many days he died after his birthday? Did I even get there yet? Oh yeah, it was that 118. Like 18, like 81. You cannot deny that stuff. And I'll just scroll down a little bit and like what day of the year. So his birthday was the 200 and oh, look at this. He died on the day leaving 37 days and his birthday's the 30th day of the 7th month. Wow. Damn, man. It's undeniable. He dies on a 44 numerology. He's born in 44. Remember, Jordan equals 62. Jimmy Cliff's last birthday, 62 date numerology. Chicago equals 46. 46 numerology on the last birthday. Jeez. And even you see his birthday, even 37, 7 plus 30 is 37, you know. So the 30th day of the 7th month is like 37, but 30 plus 7 is 37. Wow. So I'm just going to, jeez, man, try to find a YouTube video to play here. That's amazing, man. Reggae giant dies at age 81.
I found it on Cars.
Dumb ad here. I'll probably play it on my phone because the volume, I'm just expecting the volume not to play, but I'll just pull it up on my phone real quick. And wow, that was an easy one, wasn't it? Maybe I'll look a little bit more at the guy. But remember, this is on the fly, too. Jimmy Cliff, dead at 81. I was looking for that Associated Press article. Here it is right here. Probably going to be another ad. Yeah, another ad. To hit skip.
Charismatic reggae pioneer and actor Jimmy Cliff has died, aged 81. With hit songs including Many Rivers to Cross, You Can Get It If You Really Want in Vietnam, Cliff also starred in and wrote the soundtrack to the landmark movie The Harder They Come. Cliff joined Kingston, Jamaica's emerging music scene in his teens and helped lead a movement in the 1960s that included such future stars as Bob Marley, Toots Hibbert, and Peter Tosh.
Music can highlight awareness, and from that awareness, people can take some kind of action to better the situation. I think that's the role music has played through the ages.
Cliff was nominated for 7 Grammys and won twice for Best Reggae Album, in 1986 for Cliffhanger and in 2012 for Rebirth.
So, are you telling me he was in a movie called Cliffhanger and his name is Cliff? Was Jimmy Cliff was Jimmy Cliff in Cliffhanger? Oh, well, what did they say? Grammy winning album Cliffhanger. Okay, that makes sense. So he wrote the soundtrack for The Harder They Come? Or was he in it? Was Jimmy Cliff an actor in The Harder They Come? Yes. Look, 1972. Remember the Chicago Bulls had that 72-10 record. That's the second most by a team all time in the NBA. And I think The Harder They Come release date 2/8, 9 days before Michael Jordan's birthday. It releases 9 days before Michael Jordan's birthday. See that right there? Did Michael Jordan play with Cliff Levingston? Yes, I think he did. Look, Jordan played with a guy named Cliff. You see that right there? What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that, man? Come on. Come on, what a joke, huh? Wow. Cliff was a native Jamaican with a spirited tenure and a gift of catchphrases and topical lyrics who joined Kingston's emerging music scene in his teens and helped lead a movement in the 60s that included such future stars as Bob Marley. And I think we heard the rest of that in that video. The Harder They Come, delayed for some 2 years because of sporadic funding, was the first major commercial release to come out of Jamaica. It sold few tickets in its initial run, despite praise from Roger Ebert and other critics, but it now stands as a cultural touchstone, with the soundtrack widely cited as among the greatest ever and as a turning point in reggae's worldwide rise. Amazing. Amazing. Again, this guy dies from a seizure followed by pneumonia at age 81. And man, that was a hell of a on the fly right there. As I could just pull this up right here. James Chambers is the name. Tom Chambers was a basketball player as well. I don't think he ever played for the Bulls, though. The Suns for sure. James Chambers equals 81. Dead at 81. The Harder They Come, that film, 181 like 81. We went over that slavery connection as well. Pneumonia, 108 like 81. And it's a 118-day span from his last birthday to his death date. November, seizure, pneumonia, James Chambers and Cliff all sync up right there. And then he dies on the day leaving 37 days in the year, and his birthday is the 30th day of the 7th month. 30 plus 7 is 37. Remember, Chicago and Jordan equal 37. Born, I don't know if I said he died in James Parish. If I did earlier, I'll correct that right now. Born in James Parish. James like Jimmy. James like Jamaica. Dies on that 44 numerology, born in the year 44. To say the least, man. So wow. That was probably the easiest on the fly I've done. Everything seemed to land. And even like I said, it doesn't all have to land. You know, it just depends on how deep you want to go into the story. But wow, simple. This character no longer with us. There's probably some Jimmy Butler connections as well. As I mentioned earlier, Jimmy Cliff, reggae giant, star of the landmark film The Harder They Come, dead at 81. On the fly, OTF. See ya next time.